All right. Enough of the music. All right, let's get to business. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Happy Wednesday. And to the people of Texas, I say happy Independence Day. I'm not going to go into that. I'm glad to have the day off. Today, we're going to talk about cybercrime to a high level overview. This is something that's been long overdue. I apologize. I was supposed to do that on Sunday, but I had repairs going on, and I already thought the technician was going to come a bit early, but I think he was running behind, and so he came late. And then I didn't want to be doing live, and then you guys hear people knocking hammer and then drilling the walls, and so I decided to postpone it. And since today I have the day off, what better time? You got my attention, you got my brains right now for a few minutes. So just gonna do a high level. Let me bring the hope your day is going well. Let me bring the slide in. Okay. Well, everybody know who I am, but I guess for this, I have to introduce myself. My name is Selvina Cole. I'm in Texas. I don't like to talk about myself, so I'm not going to talk about my background. I'm not going to. It's something that I struggle with. I do have knowledge, full knowledge of technology to a certain extent to cause enough harm. So that's about it. I'm in no way an expert on this topic. I'm just trying to share some knowledge based on either work experience or reading or talking to some experts. So hopefully we all can learn together through this process. If you have some knowledge or more knowledge, feel free to join the podcast. Feel free to, I'm going to post a link. If you want to jump in and come on live to join the stream, feel free to do so. Together we can share. The field of technology is very, very huge. No one know everything. I just know just a little bit to cross trouble and do my work, at least and push my cartoon. And as a hobby, I love to do that. So let's talk about cybercrime. Like I said, we all know cybercrime. I mean, it's ever growing, especially with with increased use of technology and the internet and COVID and everything is ever growing. But today's discussion, we're just going to focus on, well, talk about what is it on a high level, talk about some preventive measures that we can put in place so that we cannot be so vulnerable, because we all are vulnerable, but at least we can be able to reduce the risk and be able to help somebody too. Uh, so this will cover, let me put the stream in there. Let me, before I start, let me put the, let me put the stuff in here. So if somebody wants to join, they can, let me put the link in here. And somebody wants to join, they can just pop in and I'll bring you on. No. So, I'm hearing myself. That's terrible. Um, so this is just a high level overview of what we're going to talk about. Just my outline, just a habit. So we'll talk about, give a high level overview. I think I already talked about it generally about, what's going on in the cyber space while we're here today. We'll give a definition of a cybercrime. We'll talk a little bit about the history. We'll talk about the first virus, categories of cybercrime, the types of cybercrime. There are many types now, but we're going to talk about at least the common ones. We'll touch on the cyber law. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a cyber lawyer, but just talk about as it pertains to the law. And then we'll talk about the crime report, the most recent crime report. I think it's 2020. That's the last one generated, the last one I saw. We'll look at some stats. And then, most of all, the most important part, we'll talk about some preventive measures on a high level. And then you get to ask some questions. And then, if I don't know it, I will parking lot it. And then we can talk about it another time, or I will get the experts. I have a lot of friends that are experts on this subject, and I can ask them, I can bring them on and beg them to come in and share some knowledge. So let's go into it. I think I kind of talk about the introduction. Like I said, cybercrime is ever growing, only because of the regular use of the internet, mobile devices. So it makes all of us are vulnerable to cyber attack. Um, like I said earlier, the evolution of technology and the increasing use of our smart devices means that there are so many access points. We have smart refrigerator, smart TV, smart this. So there's so many access points in our homes for for the hackers to exploit. Um, so the cyber criminals, they can exploit, like I said, your personal information, or they can exploit classified government information. I know that for sure because I work for government, and so obviously I know that. Um, so cybercrime, there's a projection that cybercrime will increase to 10 trillion by 2025. And this is just a projection. It could be even more. So if you are, for those that are looking for career change, or or you're deciding, even if you're not looking for career change, but you're deciding where to go, find yourself in the tech space, find yourself in cybersecurity, in IT, find your space. I mean, it is here to stay. I tell everybody, I tell my children, I tell my friends, everybody, it's tech is here to stay. Cybersecurity is here to stay. So find yourself in there. Find yourself in that environment. You don't have to go to a 4-year college, to go do all of that. There's so many certifications out there, that you can do in 6 months, in 9 months, in 3 months. Some of them, depend on your learning capabilities. You can get it done in 2 weeks. I know. I remember I took a professional certification in 2 weeks, but I had to tell Facebook bye bye, and I had to tell friends bye bye to really honking on that. That was a lot to do, but I needed to do that just for myself. I needed to meet a target. So we all know Warren Buffett. He's a big investor, and a philanthropist, but he called cybercrime the number one problem with mankind. And he said cyber attack is the biggest threat to humanity, bigger than nuclear weapons. That is scary. So, what is cybercrime? So, cybercrime is any crime carried out using the computer, electronic device, computer systems via the internet. In some cases, the computer can be used to commit the crime, and in other cases, the computer can be the target of the crime. So let's talk about the history of cybercrime. So somewhere around the 1970s, that's when this all started. And the hacking was first documented, like I said, in the 70s when computerized phones were becoming the target. So we, of course, we have the tech savvy people known as the freakers found a way around paying for long distance calls through a series of codes. These were the first hackers, and they learned how to exploit the hardware, the software, to steal long distance phone information and time. So ever since then, computer systems have been vulnerable. So we became vulnerable ever since then. And so the more that the computer, our system become more complex, the more we become vulnerable to cyber crimes because the criminals are always ahead. They're always planning. So, so that's where we are here. We are where we are now. So let's talk about the first computer virus. So based on my research, the first program called Creeper came about in 1971 or 72, somewhere around there. So it was done. It was written by a researcher called Bob Thomas. He designed it to travel across the network, and for the tech people, say ARPANET, but I'll just say network for just to be simple here. And so that will go through the network, and as they went through the network, it left breadcrumb trail. And there's a picture here on the top here of the ARPANET, and it read, "I am a creeper." I love this part. "I am a creeper. Catch me if you can." And so bottom right here, just an image of the program right here. Sometime later, the inventor of email wrote a program called Reaper that chased and deleted Creeper. So I have an example of Creeper up here as well as the ARPANET up here. So three major categories of cybercrime. Cybercrime can be committed, you know, by property. It can be committed on the individual and government. So let's talk about property. So property would be similar to your stealing your credit card or your bank information. The hacker steals your information, gain access to your money, make purchases, or try to use some phishing scams to get your information. So individual that involves also individual sharing malicious or illegal information online. That could be cyber stalking, that could be pornography or trafficking. Now government, this is the even the most scary one. Even though it is less common, but it is the most serious crime. Also known as cyber terrorism. And you get I think at this point it's felony, anything for a long time anyway. Mostly everything with government is felony. so uh so that's where we are with those. So let's talk about some common types of cyber crimes. And like I said, it's a exhaustive list, but we're just talking about some of the popular ones, the ones that most of us probably have heard or have experienced or know about, or through work or just conversation. So social engineering, that's one of popular one. We have phishing email or spoofing, malware, identity theft or fraud, account hacking, cyberbullying. That's what we all know. It's a common one in our community or up there. Uh, cryptojacking, cyber extortion, another familiar one, DOS attack, or some people would say DDoS attack, drug trafficking, cyber terrorism. I think I could talk about it before. Cyber stalking, hacking for fun. So we got some people, they're so smart, they're learning how to code, they're learning all these tech things, and sometimes they just want to hack for fun and they realize that some things are illegal. So network intrusion, then we got child pornography, then we have online intellectual property infringement, and then prostitution. I talk about network intrusion and I kind of smile about it because that is huge, huge, huge for government. Um, One of my past audit that I did, we had to do for people who first with tech, had to do patch management. So vulnerability assessment, patch management, just to make sure our network is safe and there's no, we're reducing the risk. We can't eliminate the risk, but at least we reduce it to a acceptable level so that at least we have some security controls staying there. So that's another fun one. Um, but all of this, I'm not going to go into all of these today. In subsequent presentation of PowerPoint, I'm going to go into each one of them. So you can know what is social engineering, what you need to do to reduce the risk or to prevent yourself. What is cyber extortion? Some of them we already know because we have a lot of them in our community that come up with these things, and you try to jack us, and crypto jacking, people jacking to your food for people who do the the cryptocurrency, all those things. So we'll go in depth into in other slides. Um, but today is just to give you a high level overview. So let's talk about cyber law. So the law governing cyberspace. This law covers computer, network, software, data storage, the internet, website, your phone, everything, all things technology. Violations to these laws, I think I kind of mentioned before, because even though I said, government is felony, but imprisonment, fines, or any you pay compensation to, and not only for government, everybody, that's just flat rule. So, so there is a law, federal law, governing uh, anti-hacking law governing all these cyber criminalities that going around. And so it's the Computer Fraud and Cyber Act. Some people call it 18 USC. So there are 7 categories of computer-related conduct, and I'm going to run through that real quickly. The first one is obtaining national security through unauthorized computer access and sharing or retaining it. The second one is obtaining certain types of information through unauthorized computer access. The other one is trespassing in a government computer. Anything about government, I smile about it because I know how dangerous it is. Uh, Engaging in computer-based fraud through unauthorized computer access. Knowingly causing damage to certain computers by transmission of a program, information, code, or command. Trafficking in trafficking in password or other means or unauthorized access to a computer, making extortionate threats to harm a computer or based on information obtained through unauthorized access of the computer. So I think I talk about the in the intro, talk about I hope people can hear me. I talk about the Internet Crime Report. So this was the most updated report, and that was for 2020. Um, so based on this information, they got 791,000 complaints from Americans. And out of that complaint, there were of total loss, estimated loss of 4 billion. That number, that information show a sharp increase of 69% from the year before. And again, we got to consider COVID, because while people were, the state individuals were basically trying to cope with COVID and find, help whether due to those different tax breaks or, find things online, whether solutions or medication and stuff. The hackers were at work. they were at work, taking advantage of all those vulnerabilities and just tearing our resources apart and stealing our data. So business email compromise. So they got 19,000 complaints and a estimated loss of 1.8 million, I mean billion. And then phishing scams. That's a huge, huge one. 241 complaint, 41,000 complaints, and a total loss or estimated loss of 54 million. That's huge. But phishing scam is huge. Just before I came on, somebody, so I got an email, and when I get this scam thing, I just laughed about it, and I'll share some later on in subsequent podcasts. And tell me, Talvina, you are vulnerable. You're at risk. Your information is here. Update your information, update your McAfee, and update so and so. And I smiled about it. I was just like, you're not that I know it all, but I'm sorry, I'm not your target. You got the wrong one. And I kind of kept it just for future presentation, so people can see some of those emails we get and what to do when you get those emails. Um, so let's look at some stats. So that's the crime report for 2020. They're looking at it for 5 years. And if you look at it, you see the increase. So from 2016, we were at 1.5 billion. Now we are at 4.2. So the total loss for 5 years, 13 billion losses. That's huge. And they're projecting that, like I said, by 2025, they're projecting about 10 trillion. So that is huge. That is huge. The criminals, they're not stopping. In fact, they're getting more savvy. Um, so let's look at the victims by age group. So if you look on here, I'm looking. Everybody's vulnerable, but the most vulnerable, if you look on there, you will see our over 60, 105,000. And then next to them, about 40 to 49. Again, considering cyber stalking and everything else. But just to look on here, our elderly, obviously, they're always the target, and I feel so bad for them. Um, so then we look at the top 20 international victim countries. Here you have it. Good stats, good stats. Um, Top 20 countries. So we see the different countries there, and you can plug in and see. And then we look at the top states, and in my good old Texas, I know we're huge, so good old Texas there, and then California, but yeah. And then so let's talk about some preventive measures. Like I said, on a high level, talk about our preventive measures, and then another time we'll go into those different most common cyber crimes, and then we'll talk about preventive measures on that. But on a high level, I think this can help some people to do it, if not one person. So the first thing, you need to be vigilant when browsing the website. Uh, Not every website you need to browse. Be very careful when you're on the website. One key thing to look for is the padlock. Look for the padlock on the website. Any website, the first thing before you even look if there's a lock, before you start putting all your stuff on there. Um, Flag and report suspicious email. Report it to law enforcement, your local police, or you can report it online to icsquare.gov, or call them up. Never click on familiar link or ads. If you're having a lot of pop-ups, you can download a paid or free blocker that will prevent all those pop-ups and things, because the more you have those pop-ups, some of those pop-ups, you're at risk. Some things are dangerous there that could steal your data, corrupt your computer. So you can put some preventive measures in place. Use the VPN when possible, and VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. Not only at work, some people use the VPN at work, but at home, you can put VPN on your phone. You go into your app store, download one, and install a VPN on your phone to safeguard your assets. We carry a lot of, when I say assets, we all know data is asset as well. We carry a lot of stuff on our phones, a lot. So the more you can prevent your phone, not only just put in passcode, but prevent your a lot of stuff. So it's a good thing. You can download the VPN on here, and so the next one is, so you show the website as safe before entering your credentials. I think I kind of talked about it. The padlock. Now the padlock, I'm looking at the website address. Look at it and stuff like that. Do some searches on it. You can also import, for people who are not really tech savvy. You can put the same website, put it in back in Google, and just maybe ask a question. Say, is this website safe? And you'll see some threads of people discussing stuff. But not everything that comes to your email you open. Not everything. Not everything, especially unfamiliar, coming from unfamiliar people. um, Keep your antivirus and applications up to date. That is huge, 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 huge. Even huge for data breaches at work. When you get those pop-ups, a lot of us, we get these pop-ups on our phone and telling you to update your phone. And some of us either keep it there, just sitting there, or we delete it. Do not delete it, because that's where the updates for your phone, some of them have patches in there. Some of them have, protections for your phone or your computer. Do not, when we get those updates from Microsoft or from Apple or whoever it said, and update, and you need to update it. It's good. It's protecting your phone. Do not just delete it. Most of the vulnerabilities that occur, whether at work or personal on our phone or computer, wherever it is because most of them is because we do not pay heed to those updates when we get those updates, email or alerts to say you need to update, because those are patches that will help us in the long run. So do that. Use strong password with 14 characters. That is another huge one. I see a lot of people on Facebook. They say, "Oh, my account was hacked. Oh, please don't send money to this person. Send a person to the person." I feel bad. That's some of the reasons why I decided to do this, because I've seen that more and more, and some very good friends that I know. We all are not tech savvy. That's fine. I'm not a tech. I mean, I don't see myself to be a guru or anything. I'm still learning. But password's important. Now, in the password, use a two-layer protection. So two-layer protection, you can use a thumbprint in addition to your password. You can use, face recognition. You can use text. One means that I use a lot. I use thumbprint a lot. You can mimic my thumbprint easily. But besides that, I use text too. So before, as an extra layer, so before I log in, I put in my password or whatever it is, I get a text again, telling me either to enter a code or to verify I am who I say I am, that's logging onto a computer somewhere else or whatever it is. So I have that extra layer of security on most stuff. So it's a good practice. And as far as password, do not use your date of birth. Do not use your child name. Do not use Maria Lavira. Do not use familiar things that somebody can easily go on your Facebook page. And like, the hackers, they're smart. They're not stupid people just with horn in their head in some kind of dark basement. These are smart people that went to school, they learned this thing and everything. So they're able to scan your Facebook page. They see your date of birth there. Okay, date of birth May 4th, 2020. Okay, this is it. She's from Monrovia. Did it, this and that. And try a combination of things to get you and to enter your account. So don't use your date of birth or those things, child name, familiar things, and use a combination names, words, letters, combination that somebody cannot easily break, alphanumeric characters. So, but we'll touch more as we go into those different categories. And some references that I use, I think I talk about the IC square for the statistics and other stuff. If anybody wants a PowerPoint, feel free, more than welcome to have it. I don't care. So that is it for me. Or I have to say, let's connect. I mean, we already connected on Facebook, but on a professional level, We can connect on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. But LinkedIn, most of all for professional work. Yeah, from your LinkedIn, I still carry my same name. That's all I have to say on this one. Be on the lookout for subsequent uh, webcasts or podcasts or whatever you want to call it. So we'll be looking into those different categories. Like I may go into social engineering, that's a common one, or going to uh, the going to talking about the email scams and things like that. But we will definitely go into those things. Sometime I'm not sure. The weekend work best for me. I'll try my best. We know this thing. We try to balance this thing with work life and other things, but we'll try our best. Whatever way that we can give back to the community in little ways, we're willing to do that. So that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, post your questions or comments or anything. You can post it now or later. Or if you're a tech person or you like to share all things tech, please by all means reach out to me. I would be more than happy to include you to do this. Um, I mean, on this podcast, usually I just do different things, just how my head leads me. Okay, let me go talk about gender stuff, or go talk about tech stuff, or talk about self care, things like that. So we're here to share the little ways whether we can give back. So enjoy the rest of your day. I'm not going to be long. Like I said, it's my day off. So I am going to catch up on a few personal things. But I thank you all for watching. Those that watch now and those that will watch later. Hopefully this was helpful to somebody. Omari, thank you so much for watching. I know it's so late on your end. Good to see you, buddy. But that's what I have to say. So have a good night, have a good day, and I will end this broadcast. Bye bye.